Good evening. We'll call the planning commission meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Tom Witherspoon.
Yep.
Michael Moore.
Yep.
Nancy Pierce.
Here.
Amy May.
Here.
Jeff Hintz.
Here.
Michelle Cook and Fred Brun are excused.
Can I have approval of the minutes from the plan commission September 29th?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on those minutes?
Excellent minutes.
Excellent. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. New business, final subdivision plat review of final subdivision plat for the Thomas Tree Farm subdivision, creating 62 lots located on two parcels located north of 1913 5 Mile Road, submitted by Dan Sapp, applicant, Thomas Tree Farm Plantation LLC owner. This went through, it's on Zoning Hub for review. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
Move to approve.
Now, is-
Oh, I'm sorry. Recommend that the Plan Commission recommends to the Village Board to approve the final plat for the Thomas Farm subdivision, subject to the 12 conditions listed in Exhibit A of the following report.
Thank you, Mike. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Nobody? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Plat review is approved. Item 4B, Homestead Acres Conservation Subdivision Easement Waiver Review. Consider request for a waiver to ordinance 1435 requiring applicant to record a conservation easement and have it conveyed to a qualified owner for Homestead Acres subdivision submitted by Nancy Washburn, applicant Newport Group Limited owner. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
You want the full one from the?
Yes, please, read it, Mike.
I'd like to make a motion to
Go
approve.
ahead. You got it in front of you?
Yep, that the Plan Commission recommends to the Village Board to approve a waiver of 14-3-5B for Homestead Acres subdivision regarding conservation easements.
Can I have a second, please? Is
I'll second that one.
there any discussion on that motion?
There is.
Nancy?
Yeah, I have a number of comments on this, and I want to thank Pete, though, for the time he spent with me going over this. So this is the first time we've ever seen a preservation easement, not a conservation easement. There's discussion in the packet here about the fact that the size of this particular land that's available for conservation, if you will, is too small to meet what KRLT is willing to take. They now would like to look at 10 acres and above. So in its stead, the applicant has proposed a preservation easement, which in general tends to meet most of the same conditions as if it was going to a conservation easement. The difference is in item 6, which says additional rights to the village. To accomplish, to accomplish the purpose of this preservation easement, the following additional rights are conveyed to the village by this preservation easement. To enter upon the easement area at reasonable times in order to monitor compliance with and otherwise enforce the terms of this preservation easement and the stewardship plan. If further, provided such entry shall be upon prior notice, which is okay. B, to investigate any activity or use of the easement area that is inconsistent with the purposes of the preservation easement. Sounds great. However, that's transferring the rights and responsibilities to the village for the village to manage actually the conservation easement. But now we get down to enforcement of the restrictions. And it says, A, village enforcement rights. The village may, but is not obligated to enforce the restrictions and covenants of this easement, this preservation easement. So they're kind of contradictory. We're saying that the village is going to take on the responsibilities of oversighting the preservation easement, which, like I say, in language is very similar to that of a conservation easement, but then the village turns around and says, but we might not enforce it, which leaves it hanging in the air. And we know under a regular HOA conservation easement, as is in this one, the HOA would be the primary responsible party to take care of the easement. But under a regular conservation easement, the land trust steps in and has the rights and responsibilities to oversight. Here, the village is, but then the village is saying, we might not do it. So I think it's an inconsistent piece.
Any other comments? Yes.
Question probably for Pete. Is this something that, or whoever is going to be in charge of, is the village going to end up doing this? Is this something we're prepared, or we being the staff is prepared to do and take on should the developer HOA like entity not?
The way this was drafted was with our legal team, and the way this easement will be conferred to the village. However, the responsibility will be the HOA as well as the individual lot owners. As part of an HOA, they have a shared ownership of the parcels in question. So it is the responsibility of the HOA and also of the homeowners within that subdivision to enforce the stewardship plan that is being provided, which is similar to what our ordinance talks about. And this is to have something that can be on the books. Now, the responsibility is for the HOA and the homeowners to enforce that preservation easement. Now, the language that you cited, Trustee Pierce, is that the village does reserve the right as a third party to go in and enforce if needed. And that was what Elaine has shared with me this afternoon, discussing the way that those sections are written. Now, the thing is that the village would only probably take on, I can't speak for the village, when it comes to the actual enforcement of this easement. However, the idea of the village retaining that right is when, if and when, there is something in that preservation easement that is a threat to the health, safety, welfare of the public, stormwater's failing, something is happening that the HOA, for whatever reason, or the property owners choose to ignore that we feel is a negative impact. The idea that would be a last resort. We wanted that language in there so that way, if things were to go so far south, we would have the ability to step in and have the right to go on site to investigate whatever the complaint may be, and then if there is a need to do it. So do we have the staff to do that? We'll probably end up hiring somebody, who has the ecological credentials to verify the violation of the preservation easement, but that is the intent. Now, this is in substitute for the conservation easement. What the applicant's asking for is a waiver to having to record a conservation easement. They see the value of it, just that they couldn't get a land trust to take it because it didn't meet the criteria. So the applicant here is trying to find a way to move forward with the stewardship plan, the requirements of, a plat. And so they're proposing, if you grant the waiver, put the condition on that a preservation easement needs to go forward. Now, this could be something that between now and the village board, we can work out that language. And that way we can work with the applicant to if there seems to be a need to fix some of the language, we can get that sorted out.
I think we can look at it, but again, remember, under the conservation easements that we have on the books, the village does hold third-party status behind the land trust.
Yep.
So this reads differently.
Right, this is behind the HOA and the homeowners.
Right, which puts us into that position of what the land trust would do. So I'm just noting that that's what we're saying, that we're taking on the rights and responsibilities, but then when we turn around and say, we may, but not obligated to enforce the restrictions and covenants, that's counterproductive.
But
We either take it on and we do the work and we say we can do it. I agree. We'd probably have to hire someone, and you've got that noted in here. That's item 8, and it's noted about hiring an ecological person. That's great. But at the same time, for us to say, well, maybe we won't enforce the preservation easement. That's troublesome to me. And I agree, I'm happy to work on language, but this is the first time we've ever seen a preservation easement. So this is different than anything that we've done. It's also not listed in 1435, because I told you earlier, I'd had a lovely morning reading every single part of that ordinance
Mhm.
on conservation subdivisions. So I don't think we're quite where we should be on doing this and understanding. I think if we just change that language about village enforcement rights, the village acknowledges it has the responsibility to step up, I'd be a much happier person.
We can definitely work with with Elaine to address that particular
Sure, I'll
concern.
sit down with them.
You know, for this body, staff, you know, the recommendation in your packet states to waive the requirement to that section, which would not require the applicant to record anything. They just would, you know, go ahead and, you know, move forward with the plat. If the Plan Commission would like to recommend that the village board consider a preservation easement, that the motion in your package should include a condition of the recommendation is to include language regarding a preservation easement in lieu of a conservation easement, and that staff should be directed to work with the applicant to discuss item. I know this is now a convoluted. This
Yeah.
is motion. The motion is make a motion to approve a waiver to 1435B with the condition that a preservation easement be recorded with the, along with the, I believe it's the third party enforcement rights, and we'll work on the wordsmithing of
I think we have
the
to know,
application.
maybe we need to hold it off, because for us to say, we'll work on language without knowing if that's what the village is
But the
willing
language
to
is
do.
pretty straightforward. You're saying you just don't want the village not to have the right to just ignore it if they don't want to do it. It's a pretty straightforward statement. I mean, I think that's something that the village board is the one who makes the final policy decision. Here, the plan commission is like, okay, if you want a waiver, we're going to put a condition of the waiver of a preservation easement would be in lieu of that conservation due to the fact of the hardship of no land trust or the land trust that for Kenosha and Racine County is not accepting the particular conservation easement. So this is in lieu of that. And to say that it's too convoluted to figure out whether or not the village should be obligated or not is not a reason to necessarily hold this up.
Well, the other thing I think I would like you to consider in language in behalf, of the village, is the ability, if you accept this preservation easement and it goes forward, is for the village to have the ability to actually transfer the management of it to a land trust in the future, should a land trust become available, which would then take the responsibility off the village for that part of the action.
If our motioner is agreeable to adding conditions that Pete described, I'll try to sum them up for the minutes point. Of course, ultimately, our motioner, I think, has to agree to it, but to add something on about revisiting the language to make it more strong for the village to step in if needed.
Enforce remedies.
And then also the enforced remedy as well.
I made the motion. Okay, I'd like to just amend the motion to take into consideration the wording on, where are we here? Preservation.
Yeah, I'll re-second that if he's agreeable to those amendments.
I think he's saying the same thing you are.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm agreeable
Okay.
to that as a second.
I guess if there has to be some wordsmithing of the motion, I'd recommend that the Plan Commission recommends the village board to approve a waiver to 1435B for Homestead Acres subdivision regarding conservation easements with the condition that a preservation easement be recorded and the implementation of the, what's this? And refine the third party rights language. I think that might be the most succinct.
I think
And-
that would help, but let me back up.
Yeah.
Do we already have a waiver on the percentage of open space on this one, don't we? We
No.
do not.
No.
So we're also addressing that we're not doing the 40%, 60%, 40% open space on this
That's
project.
that's been
That has been already
We're
addressed.
past that stage
We've
of.
addressed that piece. So,
Yes,
yeah,
the-
okay.
This is the it was recorded, they were working on it, and then the last
Right.
piece was to get recording the conservation easement, and the land trust came back and said,
Yeah, no,
sorry,
I-
things
I
have
got that.
changed, and so now that's what, they can't do the
Right.
final
No,
unless
that's
they
right. So
do
we're
it.
really not doing a waiver to 14.3.5.
No.
We're adding
No.
language to address a preservation easement in place of a regular conservation easement.
That's what the
Okay.
applicant's
I just want to make
asking
sure,
for.
because
Yes,
you were going the other way.
right. Yeah, no, we're not doing anything with.
I know,
But no, it's good to ask the question to clarify. Yeah, so the idea would be with the condition that the preservation easement
be reviewed.
be incorporated as part of this waiver. You know, because basically that's what we want. We just don't want to waive it and say you don't have to do anything.
Correct.
We understand that you have a difficulty of finding a land trust that's willing to accept the conservation easement. Because I think they were prepared to go down that route, but there isn't anybody who's going to take it. And so the applicant was the one that made the proposal to do this preservation easement. So the intent of conserving or having that easement on those areas is in place, and that there's a stewardship plan in place.
Mhm.
Everything is there, just that they can't do it.
That's,
Like we
which
want.
is fine.
Yep.
It's the language within the preservation easement on the
Well,
responsibilities and the remedy by the village that are at
Yep,
risk.
I think we can
And-
work on that. And then if at the village board, it's still
We can look at it.
wobbly, then maybe hold it at the board if need be. But I think this is a good substitution
Right.
for it than having nothing.
I'm not disagreeing, and adding language for the possibility of transferring to a land, should a land trust become available for the village.
Keith, can I please have you restate the entire motion for the minute? Thank you.
As we wordsmith over here.
I've got most of it, but the very end, you kind of trailed off a little. I have a motion to recommend to the village board that they approve a waiver to 14-3-5B for Homestead Acres subdivision regarding conservation easements with the condition that a preservation easement be recorded and the implementation of a stewardship plan.
Of the stewardship plan. 'Cause it's already in place.
Yep.
It's already
Preferably
provided.
the one that's attached.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Got it.
Good? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, item C, Special Comprehensive Plan Committee appointment, approving new appointment to the Special Comprehensive Plan Review Committee.
Your mic's not on.
I got again? Sorry, folks. Special Comprehensive Plan Committee appointment, approving new appointment to the Special Comprehensive Plan Review Committee, whose purpose is to assist in the development, review, and recommendation of updates Village Comprehensive Plan. Now, if you want me to nominate her, or you want to do it?
You go ahead.
All right, we're
You're
going to
the-
nominate
Hey,
Valerie
I
Lan.
didn't get to nominate anybody.
Okay, Valerie Lancel. Can I have a second on that, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Good, okay. Valerie could not be here tonight. Unfortunately, she had to work.
Do we know, is she replacing someone specifically?
We have a couple openings, so there'll probably be another one next month. Continuing business, 5A, Cooperative Boundary Agreement Review, review of proposed building site and operations plan for the construction of 9,440 square foot commercial building for the purpose of storing and repairing tractor trailers along US 41, Village of Raymond, submitted by Scott Truell, applicant, STI LLC owner. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the cooperative boundary agreement for the construction, building site and operation construction, 9,440 square foot commercial building for the purpose of storing and repairing tractor trailers located at US Highway 41, Village of Raymond, submitted by Scott Truell, applicant, Sty LLC owner, parcel ID 168-04-21-25-004-200.
Thank you, Nancy. Can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that motion?
No, we
Seeing
haven't.
none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Boundary agreement is approved. Comprehensive Plan Online Survey Review, review of a proposed public online survey that will be conducted to gather public input as it takes to the village's comprehensive plan I trust all of you have gone to Zoning Hub and looked at that.
Mm-hmm. But then I've got questions.
If
Part of our packet also.
it's part of the packet.
Yep.
So let's get a motion on the floor first. Got a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve.
And then second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Nancy, you had some discussion on this item?
Yeah, so I went back today, and I've been to all these meetings, and I looked from the very first survey that was proposed to the second survey to this survey and looked at the similarities or the differences. And we're just way off base. We're still making a survey request that looks mainly for development of housing than anything else. But if we look at the no changes, there is some clarity, and there was some improvement on the language that the subcommittee requested, although the subcommittee has not seen this particular thing, but they moved it up here, understanding they wouldn't see it. There is on housing and residential neighborhoods, number 9, which is meeting the, the future needs of the residents. One of the members of that subcommittee suggested removing that. It's still in there. The question comes down is, what's the goal, drive up type of population when we've got a reducing population? We know it's going to stay reduced. You go over to 10, no change in that. Same person on the subcommittee again requested what was the purpose. We also had comments by another member of the subcommittee that indicated that the language that's in here, or the situation of people buying a first-time home, is not always 150, 200,000. It could be 600 or 800,000. You get down to number 12. We still, large houses were removed. Don't know why. Farms and rural is not in there. Conservation subdivisions are not in there. You get down to 13. The previous survey, it was page 5, had suburban development in rural area. Now we don't have that language in that way, and we've added in near existing commercial areas. You get to 15, and what was supposed to have been combined was availability of jobs and quality of jobs. This is from the subcommittee. 16, how satisfied are you with the commercial areas? These were to be combined, 16 and 17, and they are not. Then you get over to part of 18, and we now have in here, promote new commercial buildings on vacant commercial lots. We still have provide support to small business owners, which is not something the village can take on or is trained to. We've got RCEDC for that. Get down to 20, and we now have changed to multi-use trails, and we've added healthcare facilities, which is new. You get over to 25, we're heavy on bike and off-street trails, but how does this fit in with what the village is, unless you want it to become Oak Creek? Considering not most of our residential is already platted out east of Douglas Avenue, how is this reflective? We still have, we did not put commuter rail in here when we're looking at transportation. Again, on the sidewalks, they may be added east of Douglas, but how would you connect sidewalks in existing neighborhood? And then who would pay for the upkeep of all that? Then you get down to 29, connect different parts of the village with sidewalks and off-road trails. It's the same problem. If we're talking east of Douglas, there might be a potential, but that's not realistic for the rest of the village. And what commercial area would need revitalizing outside of the Kmart and the bank up here? We don't have any. So those are just questions where I don't see, one, that we've made good choices on it, or we even followed directly what the subcommittee was saying.
Nancy, I think you're forgetting we have a business district in Franksville.
Well, show me something that needs redoing out there.
Well, I didn't say it needs redoing, but I mean, you know, it's not, Caledonia is not the only business corridor that we have, okay?
Well, Caledonia is the only business corridor. Douglas Avenue is one, and I appreciate your mentioning Franksville. Yes, we also have areas out by the interstate, but that doesn't match what the type of, and the intent of the question.
Peter, Todd, did you want to add? I have not been to these meetings, so. I mean, I read this, it looks like a very good beginner survey to me, but again, I haven't been to those meetings.
I think if staff was going to respond to any of those comments, we would have to go back to each one of them individually, and then we can discuss each one.
I've been happy to meet with staff or you, but nothing's come of it.
I haven't received a phone call or email from you.
Yes, you have.
Well, I mean, we can go through them right now.
I don't feel the need to necessarily go through it right now. I'm happy to sit down, but we've had this discussion all the way along that my professional opinion is that we have taken a very generic approach and not what's unique about this village. But I'm only one of a few up here.
Okay, we have a motion to approve on the floor. And send to the village board. That's correct, right?
Not sending to the village board, just to approve.
Oh, just to approve?
This is at the Plan Commission. This is a tool used for the comp plan, which is a project for the Plan Commission. And so then, if approved here, then we will go forward and put it ready for online availability on November 1st. At that point, we'll start working, staff and Natalia and I will be working on distribution of QR codes in various locations throughout the village. We did have a committee member who expressed interest in sharing the survey. And so working with our consultant, where we will create QR codes that, even village board members, if they want to use them. The key thing is that we have to use the electronic version, so that way we have everybody taking the survey in the same format. Having paper and trying to put it together into the software system would be very complicated, and we don't want to do that route. So that is one of the things that will happen. And the survey will be open from November 1st through March 1st. That it'll be open, so that way we know we have the holidays, which may be difficult for people to partake, but the plan is to have it posted in various locations throughout the village. One of the things we're going to do is take advantage of our little kiosk out front. If you ever notice it when you come in, there's the monolith with our logo and the clips that I think the original intent was for posting of notices.
Right.
We're going to use our plotter, and we're going to have that so people who are coming can easily see it as they pull into the parking lot, in addition to having it in our atrium. But we're going to be looking at various locations throughout the village to do this. Now, keep in mind that this is not the only tool in which we are trying to engage the public. We are planning, I believe I shared with the Plan Commission as part of the public participation plan that we do have pop-up events that we have been conducting. We've conducted 2 of them at the Beer Garden, conducted one at the Milligers Farmers Market. There's another one planned on November 2nd we're going to be in attendance to. We are working with forming stakeholder groups, and in January and February we'll be working with various stakeholder groups throughout the village that will answer questions about the priorities of the village, and then we'll use that to incorporate with the consultant as well as the Special Comprehensive Plan Committee to move forward. So this survey, to make a long-winded answer, is just one of multiple efforts that the village staff is making to engage the public as part of updating the comprehensive plan.
I have a question.
Yes.
And I'm not on the plan or anything like that. I'm wondering why I live in Caledonia has been separated into 3 areas. Instead of us being Caledonia as a whole. This is our village, not, I live east of Douglas Avenue. I don't understand the reasoning for it, so I'm curious.
Go back. Want my mic?
What number are you on?
1, 2, 3. There we go. User error. My fault. The reason for that particular question is, are we representing different areas of the village. And that's why we ask where their location is. All the data will be put forward, but maybe the results are going to show that, if you are a resident on the west end of the village, your priorities may significantly be different than on the east side. There's different, residential housing. You got your typical suburban on the east end, right? And then the west end is more of the rural component. And the priorities, that's one of the things that make Caledonia unique is that we have a suburbanized and we have a rural. And so that question helps us see, where we're getting our answers from. If, it doesn't help, say 80% are east of 32, likely those results are going to be, we'd like to be able to point out to you that, hey, 80% of the respondents were in the suburbanized areas, and they may have a different attitude toward housing, economic development, transportation uses than someone on the west side. So it's more for us to be able to say, hey, here's the context, here's the whole village. We're going to give you the whole numbers. But interesting things that we found out of the data was, hey, if you live on the east side or you just work in Caledonia, different perspectives. And so that way it just kind of gives us a way to refine some of the results.
Okay.
But overall, it's going to be, we had 500 respondents, here they are. And if for some reason we have a lot of people from outside the village for some reason are taking it, don't know why that would necessarily be, but we could say that surprisingly, 20% of the respondents don't live in Caledonia, but just work in Caledonia. Well, that's going to help staff understand that we need to reach out more to the residents. And how do we do that? We're going to have to find out other avenues to do that. And so right now we're trying to do different things. Online survey, pop-up events. We also have planned events to have traditional open house type events where people can come and see the work that has been progressing and talking about, hey, these are the goals and priorities that are coalescing for the different elements of the comprehensive plan. So I kind of went off the direct question, but the direct question is just to help refine where some of the answers are coming from and who are we reaching, or who, more importantly, are we not reaching in the village.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion.
Motion and a second already.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye, nay,
One
whichever.
no. Aye, nay?
I don't know which is legally correct.
It doesn't matter.
Do aye and nay?
No is a no.
Nay
That's-
and nay.
Okay, item C, comprehensive plan stakeholder exercise. The plan commission members will participate in a word cloud exercise and a structured
Word
discussion
salad.
of the village strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then there's a SWOT exercise, serving as a key step in assessing current conditions and identifying community priorities. So you all have a. It's too high. There it is. You all have a QR code in front of you. If you pull out your telephones and
Your telephones.
participate, please.
Yeah, over by your desk, you have a QR code. You can just hit your camera, and a yellow link should pop up at the bottom. For those of you who may not be familiar with word clouds, it's an opportunity to coalesce some bigger ideas of certain ideas. So here we are. What do you feel best describes Caledonia, or how you feel is good, bad about the village? And so the instructions are: click on that QR code, enter 3 descriptive words that you would use to describe Caledonia, and we'll actually be able to put that onto the screen, and the word cloud will form using the Slido application. Now, we've done this with the Special Comprehensive Plan Committee. We're doing it tonight with the Plan Commission. We also be doing the same exercise with the Village Board. We asked for 3 words, so hopefully we get some words that are a little bit bigger or brighter than others. Maybe we're going to have, if there's 73, 21 individual unique words, and everything's going to look.
You're not going
the
to
same.
show it as we go, like you did?
You can click after you enter in the 3 words. There should be a little link that you can. I got to close out of here. They should show you the results right away, so you can see the results. Why disconnect? There we go. Sorry about that. That probably helps when I disconnect. And then Natalia has the controls of the screen right now and has the results up on the screen. We have 4 comments so far, and it's starting to build. And as we're trying to figure out how different avenues and ways we can convey opinions of, in this case, the Plan Commission. And so, ideally, in theory, we'll show you them individually, and then we're going to combine the 3 different groups here at the village, being the Comprehensive Plan Committee, the Plan Commission, as well as the Village Board. And hopefully something will start to pop. Like in your packet, I had a graphic that really shows something really shines bright. You can see here, it looks like we have many unique
Totally different.
descriptors,
Yep.
which is something we're finding out with this. We've been trying to do this with at the pop-up events, and we've been having an interesting reaction from people, and mostly it's hesitant. Like, what do you want me to scan? Why are you? What do you want from me? I'm not, and I keep telling them, I joke with them, I'm not trying to extend the warranty on their vehicle, but people have been actually somewhat resistant to doing this in a public forum. So I have a feeling that this is going to be more for internally as an organization, but hopefully we can find words that help describe the village in a way that is a graphic representation. So there's nothing profound coming out of this exercise. The idea, some of these words very familiar. Some might be odd. I don't know, but this is basically what we have here. So you can see some of the friendly and beautiful. It must add multiple ones. It combined them through. Once we complete this exercise, as I said, we're going to combine it with the other results, and hopefully we'll have some sort of graphic word cloud that can help summarize the feelings and attitudes toward the village. And as like I said, in the public setting, it's been not as receptive. A lot of people are hesitant to partake in that, so this may not be as a big impact as I had hopes for. Just to prolong the explanation, I really had this grand vision of having the village of Caledonia up on the wall and having word clouds of where we held these activities. We'd have Village Hall, here's the word cloud, it kind of looked like a weather map, and then we would have one in Franksville, and then one over probably in the Douglas corridor where we're at the farmers market, but I don't think that's going to come to fruition. But that was kind of my big idea as a way to illustrate people's attitudes or feelings toward the village. So with that said, I think everyone is locked in with their 3.
Nick, are you done?
I'm done.
All right.
He's done, okay.
All right. Well, we're going to save this. This will be coming back at a later
Not going to
date.
combine it with the other one for us tonight? Anticipation.
Anticipation.
You gotta wait till Christmas.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't have
Unless
that.
it's a Halloween horror.
That'll be coming later.
All right. We'll wait for it.
So our next step, our next exercise has a little bit more effort in, and that's going to be our SWOT analysis. This is where I'd like to take the next, 30 minutes, unless you guys really start rolling and we can just keep throwing a lot of ideas up there. The idea of this exercise is to pull out the Plan Commission's views as it comes to the village, and what are the strengths of the village. What are we doing well? What are the things that makes, as an individual, as a resident in the village, proud to be in Caledonia? And we'll go through strengths, we'll go through weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We don't have to go in order, but we might have a strength and then also go, but conversely, a weakness we have is this, and we can go through. Natalia is going to take the lead in entering the information, so we have little digital Post-it notes that we're going to use. And so right now, if anybody wants to think of something that they feel, it's probably easier to go to the negative route, but hopefully we can make a positive sandwich where, if we have negative, we can cap it with 1 positive or 2 positives. But the idea here is to build a list of opportunities, threats, weaknesses, and strengths, just to go opposite of always, instead of always saying SWOT. And so with that, in your packet, there was more explanation as to what it is that we're doing. And so at this point, I'm going to stop the talking and listen to the plan commissioners provide your opinions regarding the village.
I would say a strength is we are a green gem between Milwaukee and Chicago.
Could you expand a green gem? Is it because we have all, renewable energies and we're green?
No, I think
We're Irish?
You only get what I said.
Well, I'm looking,
Because that is language that is used about this area.
a green gem?
But it's specific that we're between Milwaukee and Chicago.
So the strength is that we're between our location,
Yeah.
between,
We have a green space between two major metropolitan areas.
thank you.
I have a weakness, Pete.
Yeah,
One overpriced grocery store.
one grocery store.
You want Trader Joe's, don't you?
Oh, no.
That'd be- Then we'll have two overpriced stores. I mean,
We go up
sorry.
to see where Pete lives and.
Well, we're in the, Oak Creek has like 7 grocery stores. Granted, we lost 2. Sure, Natalia, could you increase the magnification? Thank you.
We have an opportunity for constructive growth, especially in our designated commercial areas.
So commercial growth
In designated areas,
in designated areas.
commercial growth areas.
We have a gorgeous natural resource,
Mhm.
Gorgeous natural resource,
Which one?
the lake.
the
Oh, the
lake.
lake.
Yeah, we
That's
are.
a strength.
Yes, absolutely.
Great place by a great lake.
We have
Love that.
we have good small businesses or successful small businesses. We have a threat by growth pressure from both the city of Racine and Oak Creek.
Excellent.
I don't know that it's a weakness, but we have a challenge by the fact that we have so many different living areas. Like, if you're out by the interstate, I'm not sure where you'd put it. You got the interstate, you got the center, you got residential, and then you got urban residential. So I don't know, the weakness is multiple mix of
Rural.
living designations? I don't know. You got
Is it
masters.
for residential, or are you just talking about in general? There's a
In
rural
general.
component, like we have a industrial
We
along
have
the
an
eye,
industrial,
we have
ag-
agricultural in the
and then
center,
we
and
got
suburban.
3 different types of residential.
I kind of like that as a strength. Everything.
It can go in
I see
both
that as a
places.
strength.
Everything goes in its
It can go
place.
in both places.
Sure.
Stay in your place. Or we have a place for things where they're supposed to go.
Pete, I see a weakness in the same category as we restrict residential development to very specific items instead of like mixed use. I don't know how to say that.
So no mixed use opportunities.
No mixed use opportunities.
So
But I think that becomes an opportunity then, is to develop a mixed use in appropriate
could
areas.
pursue
Yeah.
So it's both.
mixed commercial residential uses.
Yeah.
In designated areas, yeah.
Okay.
I think we have some blighted areas.
So
That would be a weakness.
a weakness.
Possibly a threat.
That could be a threat.
I mean, we can't put anything at the Kmart because the pick and save is
Microphone.
there.
Microphone.
Okay.
Related areas such as Kmart.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's helpful to have specifics.
I think one in a weakness area is the fact that the distance from the interstate to our quote commercial areas It's not so bad for Franksville, but it is a difficult challenge for this side of town.
So this is between I-94 and our business
Or
districts.
Douglas Avenue.
Or
Business
Douglas Avenue
yeah,
Business
Douglas Avenue,
District.
because, do we still have any availability in the Caledonia Business Park, or is that full up?
The Caledonia, there's the Caledonia Corporate Business Park, which is the
little
Zilber.
one? No, the other one.
The other one, the one in the center by Franksville. There are some open lots.
So it's still available, okay.
But not to go too far down that path, that business park was created with smaller lots for the most part. So the
Got it.
small lots are left, the big pieces have been
It's still there.
purchased by,
I think a weakness that we have is the status of our 5 TIDs. That's also an opportunity.
try to
Improvement of
that.
5 TIDs.
Improve,
Improvement of 5 TIDs.
improve,
All TIDs.
is it to, when you say improve,
Have,
mostly it's development will get the finances to work. So would it be to encourage development in our TIDs to, as an opportunity? I just said to improve a TID. I mean, the TID is a
Yeah.
financing tool. The district is the area in which the financing tool is applied to improve TID. To
encourage.
take the literal sense is you're somehow saying that we need to improve tax increment
Encourage,
district
I would say
financing.
encourage appropriate development in all our TIDs.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know if this will go under weaknesses or the other one, the negative one. We allow too many houses being built in non-sewer and watered areas.
That's west of Douglas?
Yeah, that's the biggest area we have.
I would say that's a positive.
That's a negative for ecology.
For who? It's
So
a
you're s-
negative for,
You're putting a hole in the ground for a septic system and for pulling groundwater.
So we don't want houses west of that, or west of Douglas?
we,
No, I would like to see sewer and water service
oh,
areas.
that's,
Okay,
there
so
Further.
the
it
lack
is.
of sewer and water is the
Right.
weakness.
But
You're not
all
picking
right,
up
then
your
I
audio
will,
At all, you have to.
Oh,
and then in one of our positives is, I would also say that we have non-sewered areas that have family homes and living that don't need sewer and water.
You said that's a strength?
Yeah.
Having,
Homes in unsewered areas. It'd be homes, farms, and, that would be homes and farms.
I think under weakness, like catch up on your typing, I guess, but under weakness, if you're a developer, probably uncertainty, depending upon what you're asking for. You come in here and there might be 5 people, there might be 100. I think that could also possibly be a threat. A lot of developers will go where there's the least resistance to put their product up. So however you want to word that, if it goes in both or one, I think that's can be an issue.
We know as a concern area, because it's across the county, is the school districts. Our schools are good here, but RUSD has challenges for a lot of people when they're looking for residential.
so
That would be a threat, I guess. Status of RUSD. One of the positives, we have 2 nature centers in this area that do education. Or do community education.
excellent.
Another positive would be we have several healthcare facilities within the village that represent our major healthcare providers. So there's easy access for most people.
under strengths, you can probably list, state highway access. You know, almost all of them run through here.
We do have a few. They're county or state, that's for sure.
Lack of any public transportation is a weakness.
I
Right.
think under weakness too, general walkability just throughout the village. I mean, if you don't mind not having, I'm not saying you need sidewalks everywhere, but I think there's a lot of people maybe off put by walking in roads just in general.
You know, one of the other positives we had is our equestrian community that is recognized nationally. I think another threat to us is we don't have currently a defined transportation plan of all of our roads for moving the traffic we have now and being prepared to move traffic for any future developments, whether it's residential or commercial, especially if you're on the more east side of the village. I mean, anybody who's in the industrial out by the eye has got pretty good access, but
Mhm.
we only have a few roads, major roads to move stuff east-west, and it would help us to have a total plan.
So weakness is east-west.
East-west transportation road plan.
As long as you're on threat when you're done typing, I think another threat, it could also be, I don't know, depends how you want to put it. I think it goes under threat, but competing interests. There's, you know, like we described, there's spots for everybody in the village. It's like who wins. Certainly the development pressures are on like developing agricultural land, and people want to keep west of 31 rural, and there's people that want to have it developed. I'm not, you know, to say who wins, but the competing interests between different areas certainly is going to be an issue over the lifespan of that comprehensive plan. Is there enough land for everybody right now where everyone's just kind of on their own? Sure, but at some point that will come together, so we should start looking at that sooner rather than later.
I guess then as a threat is, are we a community that wants heavy development, especially residential?
What is the vision of Caledonia? Do we want to
Right.
become a city or do we want to stay a village in between two cities?
Right.
Lack of vision,
Yep.
city versus village versus,
Amy, do you think that's like a density question or just a governance question? Like, does the
I think it's both. I mean, eventually we're going to run out of land or we're going to turn into a city. And city has a whole bunch of problems that a village doesn't have. And we have two cities that we can go to.
Right.
And I actually think that's a strength. We have the we have the city of Racine 5 minutes from us, and we have the city of Oak Creek 5 minutes from us. Do we need to be the city between the cities?
I think maybe one of our weaknesses, we don't have a solid vision for this village. I realize that's what you're working on, but we do not currently have, as a weakness, we're sitting here without a full vision statement. The best one we have actually came from the company that brought us Todd when they created the draft of looking for someone to come here. It is on our website now, but that's the closest we've ever done to a vision. So we do need a solid vision statement of where we intend to go.
Yeah, I hope as part of this, you know, people in the village, you know, tell us, which I think is where that question that Amy had asked
Yes.
about is super useful. Like, I think the people where I live, east of, you know, Douglas, are probably going to say one thing, and if
I'm
that
east of Douglas.
continues- Well, then there might be competing people east of Douglas too. Yeah, no, you're in a different.
I
part
moved
east
out of the
Douglas.
city because Caledonia is super quiet, even east of Douglas.
Yeah, I mean, I think we may have even competing interests potentially
Yeah, I
in
love
those
4th of
areas.
July.
So
though.
yeah.
that question will be fascinating, depending upon how you want to break that down. For you could almost use, you know, SPSS or whatever was the
Oh, sure.
program I used in grad school. But yeah,
Mhm.
you could split it based on how people answer that question. and see what to say for the rest of it, and if you get, trends based on what part of, the village they live in, so.
You know, another threat that's to us and to all areas is the state funding mechanisms back to villages, towns, and cities that hampers us when we look at what can we afford as a village.
Sure.
Now, if we could get Tom reelected and he could take care of that at the state
No,
level.
I'm not going back to Madison. There's all crazy people up there.
All right, we got about 10 more minutes, unless we're all idea out.
I have trouble doing this because I love living here, so I don't know, I can't find.
Well, you should
good
be
or
all, you
bad.
should have nothing
It's
but
just- to me,
strengths.
It's a
We
great
should-
place, so.
Great place by Great Lake.
Yeah.
I think Milwaukee has that, or is it Michigan that has that
Grew up in
trademark?
Buffalo, New York. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, going to Amy's point about the strengths that were between two cities, that also means we have significant access to arts, culture, restaurants, food, the food scene between the two, especially the two major areas that we sit in. There's nowhere else in the country that I can think of where you sit between two metropolitan areas on a Great Lake, on a natural resource like this.
I do love that I can be in downtown Milwaukee in 20 minutes and back home in 20 minutes sitting under the stars with nothing but quiet.
You know,
Would
Are
have
we-
been quicker if the Lake Freeway would have gone all the way through.
Or the rail train.
well,
If I get a stop at 4 Mile, I could hop on there and be downtown, no problem.
Is that something?
That got voted
yeah,
down
I
on
was
the
going to
last-
say, do we put,
Opportunity?
that's an opportunity, commuter, and let's just call it commuter rail, because we don't know where it's at.
Sure.
Yeah, like access to Mark,
Yeah, Mark, yeah.
its official name, but yeah.
Because that would certainly kick some commercial right around here.
Yeah.
I do think we have great restaurants in Caledonia, though, too. I love going to the Soup Shanty. I like Sebastian's. So I think we have a strength that we do have some great restaurants around here.
We got the Douglas Diner.
I do like the Douglas Diner, too. I've been to that Aries now. Their breakfast is
Mhm.
delicious.
Yeah, there's a good variety here for sure.
I think, I don't know if we've caught it up there or not, we're close to a lot of things that already exist that we don't need to recreate within the village.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, like,
Okay.
at some point, we have to make not we, but like the people or the village board or whoever have to make a decision, like, do we wanna try to recreate something that already exists because we want it here, or are we willing to say we don't need it? We're gonna go someplace else and, we're gonna be mostly.
What's our new food
Residential.
restaurant
It
down
certainly
here
doesn't
in
help the
Goldback?
tax base.
Oh, Wendy's.
Oh, so yeah, we don't need a Wendy's in Caledonia because it's right on our border.
We do have
Yeah,
that right on the
yeah,
edge of town.
conversely, from a budgetary standpoint, certainly from my, municipal management class in grad school, the teacher was the village administrator of Shorewood, and he'd more or less told our class, if you can get industrial and commercial development, that's great, because they don't send kids to school, they still have to pay all the taxes for that type of stuff.
Mhm.
They are required to have sprinklers in their buildings, and they're not usually calling the fire department for emergencies or, disputes, so I think that's one, and the village certainly has land, for that, I think, just attracting those people in terms of like certainly, an opportunity, I'd say like attraction of, businesses from other places, maybe Northern Illinois has a lot of places that aren't that far away, and the tax rate here is substantially different than, Northern Illinois, so if they're willing to move a little bit, I think that's certainly an opportunity for the village if we have infrastructure out there for them.
Well, and
So if I don't know how Natalia's capturing that, but I have business attraction from out of the area. So is that what you're looking at? Instead of recreating stuff from Oak Creek or Mount Pleasant or Racine, we're looking to attract businesses from even further out.
I'd say out of the county, I think there's an opportunity for us to get people that, maybe are
Mhm.
elsewhere, either southern Milwaukee County, and the tax rates aren't that much different between
think-
Oak Creek and Caledonia, but
as an opportunity, we also have the opportunity to bring in high-value homeowners who are looking for large parcels and can provide good tax benefits and not heavy usage, overburden services.
yeah, the home is a good one because it's there's a need for that
Right.
certainly in the housing study. Like, there's not a lot of places, certainly in the city or even in Mount
Where
Pleasant
you
now,
can
where you're
get,
gonna
if
get
somebody
something
wants
for
5 acres, 10
700,000.
acres, 20,
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing houses go up with that kind of acreage. So it's a draw where if people can get transportation wherever their business is, their work is, we offer that opportunity.
Yeah, I think a threat would just be in general the price of new construction for houses.
Well, yeah, for
sort-
everybody.
For everybody in general, but especially for younger people that are starting out or whatever. Certainly, and it might just mean they're looking at the wrong thing. But if you're looking to build new, there's a lot of people that maybe aren't going to do that just based on the price of
Well,
how
and,
much it costs
and
now.
most young people go into existing older housing as first housing, and we have quite a good supply of that.
There's a lot of people. I think there's both.
That's
There's
what
people
the
that
housing data also showed that we looked at from the county.
If I could go back, there were some comments made about taxing. Taxes, I know everyone has opinion on it, if it's high, low, good, bad compared to neighboring communities, but is there anything in that vein that is worth commenting on? Is there a threat to high taxes? Is it a strength that we have low taxes? I mean, I think it depends on who you are and what your tax bill is, maybe.
I'm a realtor, so I see them for Mount Pleasant, for Racine, for Caledonia, and it does seem that Caledonia's taxes are definitely better than Racine's and significantly lower than Mount Pleasant's.
Well,
Um,
but I thought I'd bring that up, that is, a component that the village has to take into consideration. So I thought I would touch upon that. And so, like I said, I mean, it's definitely probably
And they're lower
opinionated.
than Oak Creek, too. Oak Creek and Franklin have gotten considerably higher. I have people leaving Franklin to come to Caledonia.
I think you could almost throw taxes into any of the buckets. Like right now, it's a strength because it's lower than everybody else. But depending upon what other people do with or other not people, but other municipalities do, certainly it could become a threat or an opportunity depending upon what it is. I don't think it's a weakness at the moment, but I guess depending upon what we want to do and what the state does, which is out of our control, it could
Right.
appear in every bucket on this thing.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that would also go right along that is that these areas that have these higher taxes are the same ones that have opened up to all this extra development.
So what you're saying is one of the threats can be heavier development's impact on tax rates.
Or not.
Or
It's
not.
just when I'm looking at Oak Creek, who has strip malls everywhere, and their taxes are significantly higher than ours, and I look at Mount Pleasant, who has a incredible amount of manufacturing development, and their taxes are significantly higher than ours. And then I look at Franklin, who has they have several large manufacturing business parks as well, and they have a prison, the Milwaukee County, whatever that, it's a jail in Franklin, and yet their taxes are significantly higher than ours. I'm questioning whether development is going to help alleviate our tax burden or shove it the other direction.
We put a positive in for our police and fire department.
Oh, yeah, they're fabulous.
Did we put that in as a strength?
Oh, I think public
Because I
safety.
think
I think
our
here is
public
excellent.
safety in this village specifically is really good. And I'd add DPW to that.
I mean, good public services. I think in general
We get
that are
good public
affordable.
services here, which I think
Government
is,
services?
yeah.
All right.
And I think we're kind of
How's that development
recognized for
director
that.
working out for you?
Well, we haven't added you. We're going to put you under, I don't know, we'll have to put you as
Level
an
C
opportunity.
We'll put you as a threat.
I said opportunity.
We'll put you as a threat. But no, I think
As a
to
threat.
Amy's point though about the development, like if we just choose to do nothing and say no to everything and not have anything, certainly if you do nothing, just the price of stuff generally just goes up if it's more valuable. But I think figuring out, trying, what development do we want that makes that balance right for us, that we're able to
Exactly.
pay for our services, but at the same time, I mean, it'd be easy for us to sit here and say like, we're only going to have $800,000 houses and, it's going to be awesome, which, it might be for a while because there won't be as many of them because they're going to generally be on, larger lots. But
One of the
Um,
other opportunities we have is the agricultural farming community, because it exists as it is today, but under the current world of farming and agriculture, there's a opportunity to develop that into the current future usages of agriculture. And again, then we've got agriculture close to two big cities that is positive in turning. I know right now I heard we're growing a lot more hay than we used to. We've almost got too much hay.
Wow, that's news to me. I did not know that.
Well,
Well,
Is it possible to have too much? hay?
we need more horses. No.
All right.
More horses to eat the hay.
I don't think we utilize
Horse
our tourist attractions like,
Oh, you're right, Jellystone.
yes.
Yeah.
Are we utilizing Jellystone? Are we utilizing the Lake Michigan? I mean, Racine has amazing beach. Do we
We
have?
don't.
We don't, but we have a space for one. I
No,
go
we
to that
don't.
little hidden beach behind Cliffside all the time, but there's no way to get down there. These are things that maybe we could utilize. We have a Lake Michigan.
Yeah, one of the weaknesses we have is we don't have any really motel, hotel type establishments that bring in tourist dollars on that side, which benefit us. Could be a positive too, but
I think Tammy's point, like maybe a weakness, Lake Michigan's awesome. I think access to it is a weakness unless you know where to go or you're willing to like walk down that random right of way and then like, bring stakes to climb back up at the end of
use
4.5
stick to
mile
get
road.
back up.
Which, it's technically right of way next to that new house they're being built, but that's not probably how the public should access Lake Michigan here generally, but.
I'm doing that back behind Cliffside. So
Yeah.
there's
We
a, right
we
there
also
by,
have quite a respectable identified environmental corridor that includes, because you're talking about water, includes the Root River and stuff through that environmental corridor. So that's, well,
River
the Root River and the environmental corridor
and
that
the
goes
corridor
with
that
it.
surrounds it.
and are we protecting the environmental corridor?
County owns most of it.
County does own quite a bit of the river. But
What about the environmental corridor at Lake Michigan, running all the shoreline
about
of
the
Lake
shoreline?
Michigan?
Shoreline
Are we
state.
protecting it and are we utilizing it
Yes.
to its highest and best use?
Well,
for the
that's
village.
Yeah, but that's the state.
State.
Okay,
That's not us.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, Cliffside's county. But no, I think, the river and surrounding corridor is a strength,
Another opportunity for us is working with the county at the county level, because sometimes we get in our own heads that we're just the village here and we're going to take care of everything. And we forget about our relationship to the county and then, of course, to the state when you're talking ordinances, laws, opportunities, development. Sometimes we're good at that and sometimes it's an opportunity to continue to develop.
Mm-hmm. We've been doing this for a
I think
half
we're
hour, would
done.
you believe it? Yeah, you guys,
I think you got a good start there, Pete.
it's great. It's great,
it is a good
to be able to throw these out and now we plan on, there it is, my timer. I was timing us to make sure we didn't get too long. The village board will be doing a similar exercise to do this, and then we're going to compile the answers, and staff is going to look to see what are some common themes, what are areas that we can focus on when we look at the existing comprehensive plan. So I appreciate you taking the time to share the feedback. Sometimes I've done this exercise and I just got deer in headlights and no one wants to say anything. And it's like, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on this. And this will be going with the village board, and this will be all compiled and then given back to the comprehensive plan committee as we start working through the update to the plan. So
Now, when it
that's-
gets to the board, Nancy has to have new answers, right?
Oh, I can do that.
No,
Oh, that's
right,
not a
no,
problem.
she gets,
Not a problem. Can I
Yeah,
s-
both of you
is
have
it okay if I
opportunity.
say them in
You
French?
two
I
both
can
get-
say the same
No,
words
no,
but
no,
in
You
French.
gotta have new answers.
Well, if it's in French,
No.
it's a new answer.
No, that's all right.
no, it'll be fine, and that, it'll work, and
He assumes I'll remember.
so that is, the efforts that we were hoping to accomplish tonight as part of this agenda was to identify those strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats. And we're doing a modified version of this when we go out in public, because when you say a SWOT analysis, everyone just like, what are you going to analyze me on? People get really nervous about it. So the wording is a little bit different, but the intent is still the same. And when you get people going, I had one lady talk to me for 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay, let me get your input. And she was having a fun time. I was writing it all down, putting it up on the board. So some
Sit
people,
outside the pick and say, even ask them.
Yeah, well, this was at the farmer's market that I had the engagement with one resident for quite a while. But then she wanted, half of it was critiquing everyone else's answers as well. And I was like, well, this is not about evaluating the comments. It's to get the comments up on the board and see if we can find some commonalities and categories to help us.
To
with
the
this
degree you
project.
can, if you can work this into the online survey somehow, I mean, it hints at some of these things, but I think if you could word some of this or work it into the online survey, you might get some halfway decent input off of that too, I think.
I think it almost would be like a potential secondary kind of effort that maybe we can go online with. I had to do a little research on that, how we can do it, because he has so many open-ended answers. I don't know how.
You have to be able to analyze it and figure out something. You could almost do like a long form, maybe. I've seen, and I assume you guys developed questions for the comp plan based on what Sewer Pack found was like a best practice and other people who've done comp plans recently, but you could almost ask them like the census has like a short form and a long form. Like if they're done with this questions you have and say, would you like to answer a few more and see how many people, and you might get nothing, but if you could figure out a abridged version of this it might be useful, and maybe no one does it and I'm just an idiot, but it might be an option for
It's worth
some people.
exploring. Definitely. We do have Sewer Pack at our disposal as a consultant on this project, so we'll see what we can find.
See what they think. But I think it might be a good addition if people answer, the 18 questions or whatever it was that we went through earlier and want to give more open-ended feedback. You might have to control it to like, you get 50 characters. We're not going to listen to you like paste a paragraph
Right.
in. We're not dealing with that.
We don't need your mission statement of what to do. All right, with that, I turn it back over to you, Mr. President.
We're adjourned. Thank you, sir.
All right.